In the vast savannas of Africa, certain lion coalitions have risen to power, leaving an indelible mark on the animal kingdom. The Mapogos, Majingilanes, and Selatis are not mere names, but legends. Symbolizing strength, dominance, and survival. Their tales, characterized by power struggles, territory conquests, and raw wilderness instincts, offer a glimpse into the fierce and fascinating world of these apex predators. As we embark on this narrative journey, prepare to delve into the sagas of the most formidable lion coalitions the world has ever witnessed. In the heart of South Africa's wild landscapes, the early 2000s saw the emergence of a force that would redefine the hierarchy of the lion world: the Mapogos. This coalition, initially comprised of 6 brothers, later grew to 7 with the inclusion of a lion from an unrelated pride. Their name, Mapogo, is derived from a local word meaning vagabond or bandit, which fittingly encapsulated their formidable and fearsome nature. The journey of the Mapogos began in the western sector of Swaziland, a region known for its rich biodiversity. As young lions, they ventured away from their natal pride, a rite of passage that most young male lions undergo. Typically, young males form coalitions either with siblings or other young lions they encounter, providing strength in numbers. For the Mapogos, this natural tendency to form a coalition had unprecedented outcomes, mainly due to their sheer number and unity. Their initial forays into establishing a territory were marked by confrontations with resident males. These territorial disputes are a natural aspect of lion behavior, where power, dominance, and the right to mate with the resident females are at stake. However, what set the Mapogos apart was their brutal approach. In the world of lions, death is an infrequent outcome of territorial battles, with most confrontations ending in the retreat of the weaker party. But the Mapogos seemed to defy this norm. Their early conquests were characterized by ruthlessness, often resulting in the death of their rivals. This unyielding approach sent shockwaves through the region, with many regarding them as the harbingers of a new, more brutal era. Their strategy was simple: to expand and solidify their territory rapidly. With each conquest, their domain grew, and so did their reputation. Tales of their might and fierceness spread like wildfire among both animals and the humans observing them. The coalition's strength lay not just in their numbers, but also in their unity. They operated with a precision and coordination that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Their collaborative hunting techniques allowed them to take down prey much larger than themselves, further solidifying their status as apex predators. As they aged, the dynamics within the coalition evolved. The dominance hierarchy, an inherent part of lion behavior, began to emerge more distinctly. Certain members of the coalition, like the lions named Mr. T and Kinky Tail, were often seen leading the charge, both in territorial conquests and hunts. These 2 lions in particular became symbols of the Mapogo legacy, their individual strengths and personalities contributing significantly to the coalition's overall success. Within a few short years, the Mapogos had successfully claimed a vast territory, spanning from the western sectors of Swaziland to parts of the Kruger National Park. Their rule was undisputed, and their reputation unmatched. They had access to abundant prey and mating rights with numerous lionesses, ensuring the propagation of their genes. It wasn't just about survival for the Mapogos, it was about dominance in its rawest form. The very essence of lion behavior is rooted in territory. A pride's territory determines its access to resources, prey, and potential mates. For the Mapogos, territorial acquisition wasn't just about survival. It was a manifestation of their unparalleled dominance. With each territorial conquest, the coalition's sphere of influence expanded, resulting in a territory that became one of the largest lion territories ever recorded in the region. Stretching across vast expanses of the Swaziland Game Reserve, the Mapogos domain eventually extended into parts of the renowned Kruger National Park. This extensive territory was not just a mark of their power, but also a strategic advantage. The diverse landscapes encompassed within their domain provided an array of prey species. From the agile impalas in the grasslands to the formidable buffaloes in the denser areas, the Mapogos had a varied diet, which played a significant role in their health, strength, and longevity. Hunting, typically a pride's responsibility, witnessed a unique dynamic when the Mapogos were involved. While it's customary for lionesses to lead hunts, the Mapogos often participated, leveraging their sheer strength and size. Their hunting techniques were a sight to behold. Employing a combination of stealth, coordination, and brute force, they would often single out and flank their prey, taking turns to chase and wear it down. Such collaborative hunts, especially when larger prey like buffaloes were targeted, showcased their unity and precision. On many occasions, their hunts symbolized more than just a quest for food. They were exhibitions of power, sending a clear message to any rival prides or nomadic males that ventured too close. The impact of the Mapogos on surrounding prides was profound and, at times, devastating. As they expanded their territory, resident prides found themselves at a crossroads, submit to the Mapogos' dominance or face potential annihilation. The coalition's approach was clear-cut. Any pride that posed a threat, either due to its size or its resident males, was confronted head-on. Such confrontations often led to the scattering or elimination of resident males. Lionesses from defeated prides had two choices: align with the Mapogos or be ousted. This brutal strategy, while ensuring the Mapogos' continued dominance, also facilitated their genetic legacy as they frequently sired cubs with the lionesses of subjugated prides. Yet it wasn't just about dominance and expansion. The Mapogos, during their reign, played a crucial role in maintaining the delicate balance of the ecosystem. As apex predators, their hunting regulated herbivore populations, ensuring that the vegetation remained in check. This ecological balance was pivotal in maintaining the biodiversity of the region, proving that even in their ferocity, the Mapogos contributed to the circle of life. The sun that rises must eventually set, and such is the nature of life in the wild. Even the most dominant reigns face challenges and eventual decline. The Mapogos, despite their unparalleled power and dominance, were no exception to this natural law. Their fall was as profound and impactful as their rise, marked by a series of confrontations, internal dynamics, and the relentless march of time. The first signs of challenges to the Mapogos' reign came in the form of new coalitions and nomadic males who began to edge closer to their territory. As with any dominant force, the Mapogos' vast territory and influence also made them a prime target for ambitious lions seeking to establish their own dominance. These new coalitions, having observed and learned from the strategies of the Mapogos, began to employ similar tactics, often grouping in larger numbers to enhance their chances of success. One such formidable challenge came from the Majingilanes coalition, a group of young, strong lions determined to carve out a territory of their own. Their initial skirmishes with the Mapogos were testaments to their ambition and strength. While the Mapogos had the advantage of experience and a legendary reputation, the Majingilanes had the vigor of youth and a burning desire to establish their rule. Internal dynamics also began to play a role in the Mapogos' decline. As the years rolled on, age began to take its toll on the members of the coalition. Their once united front started showing cracks, with individual lions often wandering off on their own or in smaller groups. This dispersion made them more vulnerable to confrontations and reduced their collective strength, which had been one of their greatest assets. The defining moment came during a series of intense confrontations between the Mapogos and the Majingilanes. Battles that raged for days resulted in the tragic deaths of some of the most iconic members of the Mapogo coalition. The lion known as Mr. T, who had been a symbol of the Mapogos' strength and dominance, met a brutal end at the paws of the rising Majingilane coalition. This was not just a physical loss, but a significant blow to the morale and unity of the remaining Mapogos. The subsequent years saw the Mapogos retreating from their once vast territories, with the remaining members seeking solace in the fringes of their former domain. The relentless pressure from emerging coalitions, combined with the effects of age and injuries sustained in numerous battles, gradually wore them down. One by one, the legends of the African savanna met their end, either due to confrontations or the natural progression of life. As one chapter in the annals of lion dominance came to a close with the waning of the Mapogos, another was set to begin with the emergence of the Majingilanes. These lions, while drawing inevitable comparisons to the legendary Mapogos, brought their own brand of leadership, dominance, and strategy to the intricate dynamics of the savanna. Originating from the distant grasslands of Kruger National Park, the Majingilanes were initially a quartet of robust young lions with a clear ambition to carve out a territory worthy of their collective strength. Their early days were marked by exploration and learning. Observing coalitions like the Mapogos provided these young lions with valuable insights into the strategies and tactics required for territorial dominance. Like the Mapogos, the Majingilanes understood the power of unity. They moved with a synchronized intent, their every action radiating the ambition that burned within. As they ventured closer to the territories held by the Mapogos, it became clear that a confrontation between these two powerhouses was not just likely, but inevitable. However, the Majingilanes displayed a certain strategic patience that set them apart. Instead of immediate confrontations, they spent time gauging the strengths and weaknesses of their opponents. They observed the dispersed movements of the aging Mapogos, recognized the potential cracks in their unity, and waited for opportune moments to strike. This element of patience, combined with their youthful vigor, became a cornerstone of their strategy. When confrontations did occur, the Majingilanes showcased a brutality that mirrored the early days of the Mapogos. They understood that to establish their dominance, they had to decisively defeat the reigning champions of the land. Battles raged, with the Majingilanes often emerging as the victors, slowly chipping away at the territories and the morale of the Mapogos. But beyond their strategic confrontations, the Majingilanes also displayed a keen understanding of pride dynamics. Instead of annihilating entire prides, as the Mapogos often did, the Majingilanes occasionally chose a more diplomatic approach. They integrated subjugated prides under their rule, providing protection and stability in exchange for loyalty. This approach not only expanded their domain, but also created a network of allied prides that could come to their aid if needed. Their hunting techniques, much like the Mapogos, emphasized collaboration. However, with the Majingilanes, there was a notable division of roles. While all members participated in hunts, certain lions took on specialized roles, be it chasing, flanking, or delivering the final blow. This specialization showcased their adaptability and understanding of each member's strengths. Yet for all their strategic differences, the Majingilanes couldn't escape the comparisons with the Mapogos. Both coalitions showcased the power of unity, the importance of strategic dominance, and the inevitable challenges of maintaining vast territories. But while the Mapogos were often seen as brute forces of nature, the Majingilanes added layers of strategy, patience, and occasionally diplomacy to their playbook. In the ceaseless ebb and flow of the African savanna's power dynamics, the Majingilanes emerged as a force that reshaped boundaries, redefined interactions, and established a new era of dominance. With the legacy of the Mapogos casting a shadow, these lions forged their own path, setting in motion a chapter that would be remembered for its influence, strategy, and mastery over vast territories. The territories dominated by the Majingilanes spanned a breathtaking expanse, encapsulating parts of the Sabi Sand Game Reserve and even encroaching on the edges of Kruger National Park. These lands, rich in biodiversity, offered the coalition a smorgasbord of prey, from the nimble impalas that darted across the grasslands to the formidable buffalo that roamed in herds. Yet the importance of these territories went beyond sustenance. They were symbols of the Majingilanes' unyielding grip on the region, testaments to their strength and strategic prowess. One of the distinguishing features of the Majingilanes' reign was their interaction with other prides. While the Mapogos often employed brute force to subjugate or scatter rival prides, the Majingilanes brought a nuanced approach to the table. They understood that sheer power, while effective, was not always the best solution. Diplomacy at times yielded more lasting results. By integrating defeated prides under their protection, they expanded their sphere of influence without excessive bloodshed. This strategy not only helped in maintaining a relative peace, but also meant that they had a network of prides that looked up to them, acknowledging their dominance. However, this is not to say that the Majingilanes shied away from conflict. When challenged, they responded with a ferocity that was reminiscent of the Mapogos. Their confrontations were more than mere skirmishes. They were deliberate displays of power, often resulting in the Majingilanes reinforcing their dominance and expanding their territories. The Majingilanes' interactions weren't restricted to confrontations and diplomacy alone. They also displayed a certain level of tolerance, especially towards young males. Recognizing the potential threats these young lions posed, the Majingilanes occasionally allowed them to pass through their territories without immediate aggression, provided they showed no signs of challenging the status quo. This pragmatic approach reduced unnecessary conflicts and showcased a mature understanding of long-term dominance. Their influence in the region was undeniable. Under their reign, the territories witnessed a relative stability, with fewer violent overthrows and pride takeovers. Their diplomatic approach meant that lionesses and cubs were less frequently subjected to the traumatic experiences of pride takeovers, which often resulted in cub mortality. This relative stability led to an increase in the lion population in their territories, reflecting a prosperous era under the Majingilanes. Beyond population dynamics, the Majingilanes also played a pivotal role in the region's ecological balance. As apex predators, their hunting habits and patterns directly influenced herbivore populations. Their dominance ensured that overgrazing was kept in check, preserving the delicate balance that the savanna ecosystems thrive upon. The journey to dominance in the wild is never straightforward. For all their might, strategy, and influence, the Majingilanes were not exempt from the trials and tribulations that nature invariably imposes on its rulers. Their reign, while marked by significant achievements, was also punctuated by challenges that tested their unity, resilience, and ability to adapt. One of the primary obstacles the Majingilanes faced was the sheer vastness of their territory. While this expanse was a testament to their dominance, it also became a logistical challenge. The coalition had to continually patrol their borders, ensuring that potential rivals were kept at bay. This constant vigilance, while necessary, often left them spread thin, opening pockets of vulnerabilities which ambitious young males and emerging coalitions could potentially exploit. Confrontations were an inevitable part of their rule. While the Majingilanes were adept at handling skirmishes and were often the victors, each battle took its toll. Injuries, even if minor, accumulated over time, reducing the overall effectiveness of the coalition in subsequent confrontations. Moreover, these physical confrontations weren't just about the immediate battle. They were draining psychological endeavors, constantly testing the coalition's resolve and unity. Another challenge was the internal dynamics within the coalition itself. As the years progressed, the individual members aged at different rates, leading to varied levels of capability and strength. This natural progression meant that certain lions had to bear more responsibility, causing occasional rifts and disagreements among members. While their unity had been their strength, these internal strains occasionally threatened to weaken their collective front. Their diplomatic approach to dominance, though effective in many instances, was not foolproof. By integrating defeated prides under their protection, they also took on the responsibility of ensuring the safety and sustenance of these prides. This added layer of responsibility sometimes stretched their resources, making it difficult to cater to the needs of all the prides under their domain. Moreover, while many prides acknowledged their dominance, there were instances where younger lions from these subjugated prides showed signs of rebellion, seeking to carve out a niche for themselves. Disease and the challenges of the natural environment also posed significant threats. From outbreaks of illnesses like mange to natural calamities that disrupted the delicate ecosystem they thrived in, the Majingilanes had to navigate these unforeseen challenges, ensuring the health and well-being of not just themselves, but also the prides under their protection. Every era in the wilderness introduces a set of characters that leave an indelible mark on its chronicles. Following in the paw prints of the mighty Mapogos and the strategic Majingilanes were the Selatis. As a new force rising on the horizon, they brought with them a blend of vigor, ambition, and their own distinct style of dominance. Hailing from the southern stretches of Kruger National Park, the Selatis were initially shadowy figures. Tales of their exploits whispered through the grasslands before they ever set foot in the territories dominated by the Majingilanes. This southern origin, distant from the heart of Majingilane territory, gave the Selatis a unique advantage. They had the opportunity to observe, learn, and cultivate their strategies without immediate threat or confrontation. The Selatis were not just notable for their raw strength, but also for their uncanny ability to move with a silent, ghost-like presence. Their stealthy approach earned them a reputation as phantoms of the savannah, making their movements unpredictable and often catching rival prides off guard. This element of surprise was a strategic advantage, allowing them to make significant territorial gains with minimal resistance. As their territory expanded and their reputation grew, tales of their unity and coordination became legendary. Much like their predecessors, the Selatis understood the power of a united front. Each member brought a distinct set of skills, and they operated with an almost telepathic synchronization, seamlessly transitioning from hunting to defending their territory. Yet what set the Selatis apart was not just their prowess or unity, but their adaptability. The African savanna is a theater of constant change, with shifting alliances, environmental challenges, and evolving prey dynamics. The Selatis showcased an innate ability to read these shifts and adapt swiftly. Whether it was changing hunting techniques based on available prey or recalibrating territorial strategies based on rival movements, they were always 2 steps ahead. Their interactions with other prides were marked by a mix of diplomacy and dominance. While they had no qualms about asserting their authority, they also exhibited moments of unexpected benevolence, especially towards younger lions. This blend of fierceness and compassion made their rule unpredictable, keeping rival prides constantly on their toes. The heart of the Selatis' story lay in their territorial pursuits, a relentless drive that saw them annex vast stretches of the savannah. Their map of dominance stretched and evolved, bearing witness to their ambition and testament to their rule. Starting from the southern fringes of Kruger National Park, the Selatis expanded methodically. Instead of aggressive, swift takeovers, they chose a measured pace, ensuring that each new territory was fully assimilated and secure before moving on to the next. This patience was a cornerstone of their strategy, allowing them to build a stable foundation that would support their larger ambitions. As their territories grew, so did their encounters with resident prides. Each interaction was a calculated dance, a mix of assertion and understanding. The Selatis, with their signature blend of fierceness and compassion, often gave prides a choice: acknowledge their dominance and live in relative peace, or resist and face the might of the coalition. More often than not, prides chose the former, recognizing the futility of confrontation against such a formidable force. However, it wasn't just the promise of peace that swayed many prides to the Selatis rule. It was the unique style of governance they brought. The Selatis often patrolled their vast territories, not just to ward off potential rivals, but also to check on the well-being of prides under their protection. This sense of responsibility, of looking out for the larger lion community, earned them respect, and in many cases, genuine loyalty. Their dominance strategies often leaned on the psychological as much as the physical. By moving silently, unpredictably, they created an atmosphere of unease amongst rival males. The message was clear: the Selatis were everywhere, watching, ready to strike if challenged. This silent assertion often dissuaded potential confrontations, maintaining a relative peace in their territories. Yet, their rule was not without conflict. In instances where prides resisted or where ambitious young males sought to challenge their authority, the Selatis responded with decisive force. Their coordinated attacks, born from their innate unity, often overwhelmed opponents, reinforcing their dominance time and again. In the ebb and flow of the African savanna's chronicles, certain tales rise above the rest, casting long shadows and leaving imprints that stand the test of time. The Selatis were such a tale, their legacy both tangible in the territories they held and intangible in the memories they forged. The Selatis didn't merely dominate, they redefined what dominance meant in the Lion Kingdom. Their approach, a blend of strategy, compassion, and strength, created a rule that was not just about power, but also about stewardship. Prides under their domain did not merely exist in subdued acceptance, but often flourished, a testament to the Selatis' unique guardianship. This sense of responsibility, the idea that dominance came with the duty of care, shifted perceptions across the savannah. The vast territories they held were not just markers of their conquests, but symbols of their vision. Their methodical expansion and careful assimilation of new lands showcased a foresight rarely seen. This was not the hasty land grab of a coalition merely seeking power, but the deliberate design of rulers planning for longevity. And while their rule, like all, had its sunset, the stability they brought to their territories endured, influencing the dynamics of the region long after they were gone. Their psychological dominance, the art of silent assertion, became a thing of legends. By mastering the art of unseen influence, the Selatis introduced a new playbook in the game of power, one that prized the mind as much as might. Subsequent coalitions and young lions, tales of the Selatis' tactics whispered into their ears, sought to emulate this style, making the Selatis' influence resonate across generations. But perhaps the most enduring aspect of their legacy was the stories they inspired. Every pride they encountered, every young lion that grew under their shadow, carried with them tales of the Selatis. Stories of their compassion, their fierce battles, their silent prowls, and their strategic masterstrokes became a part of the oral tapestry of the savannah. These tales, passed down from one generation to the next, ensured that the Selatis lived on, not just as former rulers, but as eternal legends.